And if you can say who you're addressing the question to, also will help.
I'm part of member of an organisation that empowers Muslim women called Iman, empowering, inspiring, motivating through advocacy and nurturing, and our target groups are Muslim women. Although I have spoken to others about my concerns I have, we're looking at Muslim women at a strategic level as strategists. What about the women at grassroots? How do we cascade and how do we shift them up to be empowered, to create dialogue with them, because they tend to have concerns regarding their confidence and the lack any encouragement through civic participation. For instance, Iman has orchestrated a group of women to be accredited to go to the United Nations, and it's never ever happened for women at that volume from minor population.
Okay, thank you very much. That's the first question. Any more questions? Comments? Brief comments? No?
That question to Neil and
Okay, in that case, we'll address that question first. Maybe Aisha can start, then Neil can also comment. You can speak from your seats.
Are you talking about from the Muslim community point of view or government level? I mean, I know there were some civic participation programs that there was an attempt to launch a few years back where the government were trying to encourage Muslim women to come forward and to engage through civil participation and get women involved in becoming local councillors, magistrates, apply for non-executive positions on boardships of hospitals, for example. I mean, I'm not quite sure how far that has gone. But again, when I participated in that programme, it looks like since it's died a death just because government funding is not available. So it's something maybe we as a community have to think about in terms of how we are going to push Muslim women to the forefront rather than seeing maybe the same old faces and the same old women who are speaking on behalf of the community, to bring some of the youth forward now, the women in our universities and the young women, because over the last 20 years I've seen it, even for myself, even coming to speak here today, it is some of the same faces, and we need to see that new blood coming through. So I'm completely in agreement with you. Solutions, I'm not sure.
We'll talk about it.
Thank you, Aisha. Neil,
I could just quickly pick it up. I should have made it very clear, we never take public money. If you take money from the government, you've got to do what you're told. That's one of our another lesson we have. I was going to ask Sotis Chowdhury and put him on the spot, really, because I know he's working with a group of Muslim mothers from a local school just off Commercial Road who have a particular problem. Remember, we start with power, we build power, and the London Citizens has a substantial amount of power and training and so on, but then lots of people come to us with difficulties from their institutions. So they go to a primary school. I wonder if that's all right, Chair, if Sotis has a couple of minutes to say what he's doing with ordinary Muslim women who have a problem with their estate.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. The question you asked, the grassroots level, I think that's really key. I'm going to bounce off something Aisha just mentioned.
yeah,
Aisha just mentioned about not finding the same old people. Often you will find in our communities that you find the same old people appearing at the same old things, and the rest of the community often points you to them when it's about meeting people within the community. So in an estate in Brick Lane, known as the Flowering Dean estate, previously, but since it was built, demolished and rebuilt, for the last 28 years it was Bangladeshi men that used to sort of deal with the politics of the area. And what this meant is everyone used to point you there, or an occasional woman or man from a non-Bangladeshi or non-Muslim background would be involved in politics and how things are governed. So the way we went and organised, the way I went and organised it is, I decided not to meet with them. I went into the local school, which is Cannon Barnett Primary School, and went to the coffee mornings and saw if the women had any appetite to do any action, take care of issues that they were facing. They were facing, this area is plagued with social issues from prostitution to, on the sort of the road beside the school, the road beside the estate, there's prostitutes that operate in that area. There's 9 entry points into the estate where drug dealing often happens. And, this is something that the moms are seeing every day. The kids are picking up condom wrappers, the kids are picking up half-drunken bottles of beer, but they often thought nothing's been done, the men aren't doing nothing, so we can't have anything done. But actually, when you approach them and tell them to build relationships amongst themselves, instantly you see the development. Instantly, when they see, Neil was talking about power. Power is, if we think about power in two ways, sort of money and people. So if you thought of organized power, organized money means a lot of money, yeah. And when money doesn't organize itself properly, the euro happens. The euro crisis happens. When there's a certain person, like, these people that always pop up, when they're there, it almost becomes a bit sectarian and a bit, sort of the way dictators sort of work, yeah? But then when people gather, then it's sort of like the Arab Spring with lots of people and that demonstrates proper power. This is the sort of power, rather than empowerment, that's the power they should be doing.
Okay.
That's the way I think.
Okay, thank you for that. Any more questions? One there and one at the back. I'll take the one in the front here first.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very much impressed, really, about the subject clothing. I wonder if you have any lessons learned from Africa or from Middle East, and I would very much appreciate it. Because nobody in our setting in Africanism is corruption. There should be a corruption where there's a corruption. So,
Okay, thank you. So any lessons from Africa? There's a question at the back, right at the back row, the sister.
I mainly work with Afghani women, been to Pakistan, Afghanistan, etc. My question is, how are we going to effectively lobby and campaign for our Afghani sisters who are really suffering at the moment with bombs, birth defects, etc. I think we had it quite cushy in the Muslim convert. I appreciate the sister talking about hijab. I'm always fighting as a convert, but I think the sisters in Afghanistan are really suffering, Kashmir, etc. And how are we going to campaign and lobby our government here who really
Okay.
don't give a...
Great, thank you. Thank you. We'll take one last question. Anyone from this side? Go ahead, in the middle.
Shall I just speak?
Mike's here.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm not sure to It's not so much a question, it's more of a comment. I think sisters, young sisters in particular, need to mobilise their community, their friends. Young sisters need to take personal responsibility for what is going on around them, and I think how they, me personally, I work full time, I'm a single parent, and there just simply isn't enough hours in a day, but I make it a personal responsibility of mine to consistently campaign to my local MP, who now knows me on a first name basis, and often meets with me to discuss several issues in my area. One of the issues that I've personally taken responsibility in doing is making sure that from my constituency that my local MP is addressing issues that are close to me personally, but also very worrying for the whole community, whether you're Muslim or not. Issues such as Baba Ahmed, issues such as local transportation, local schools, and this is something that I'm not qualified in doing. I try to articulate myself and I write to my MP and I bombard everybody with emails until somebody's prepared to listen, and I think this is something that we all need to do, and mobilising your friends in other areas, such as my friend here, she lives in North London, and just speaking to people and getting every person from each area to actively get involved with the community and speak out and say enough is enough. We want something done about this, and getting people behind you, whatever it takes. And we can do this. It doesn't take a lot of education or strength or talent. You just need to have a heart and understand that these are human beings and this is wrong. This shouldn't be taking place, and you shouldn't want to raise kids in a world where things like this are happening. So my comment is just whatever it is, put pen to paper, speak to somebody about it, mobilise people in every area and get them speaking about the issues that we need to speak
Great.
about.
Thank you. Loud and clear. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll ask each of the speakers to maybe respond in 1 minute each as a conclusion. If I may start with Jeremy Corbyn first. Looking at lessons from Africa, Afghani women, what can we do to help them, and how to mobilise young sisters and ladies?
Hi. Yeah, fine. Thanks very much. Very, very briefly. The issue really is one of self-organisation and of making appropriate demands. The point you were making at the end there about your local community. Lobbying the MP is very important. The MP isn't normally in charge of very much in terms of direct administration of local services, but the MP does have an ability and a facility to get hold of the Department of Work and Pensions, Council, Social Services Department, Education Department, all the rest of it, and try and change the atmosphere in that respect. But it is essentially the power of organisation of ordinary people demanding things. I have a constituency like everyone else that has enormous housing problems, and the pressure I get is always from individuals who are desperate to get somewhere bigger to live, somewhere with sufficient space and size, and I fully understand that. I have a very large number of people living in very expensive, very poor quality, private rented accommodation. They're not banded together, they're not organised together, they're not speaking with a united voice because they're simply trying to make ends meet and survive. They haven't got the opportunity or the facility or the time. So it's up to all of us as a community to campaign for those issues of social justice. On the wider issues of lobbying about the plight of women in Kashmir and Afghanistan and the lack of treatment of women in those, in many cases in those societies, it has to be that we campaign for international law to be recognised, for the rights of those women to be recognised, and for those countries to recognise those necessary conventions. That means putting pressure on the British government. I was very angry when Tony Blair signed letters of agreement with various countries to deport people, even those countries that had not signed the UN Convention Against Torture, because of the danger that goes with it. The same should apply in the case of Afghanistan. The same should apply in the state of Kashmir. But the principle is, if you want your voice to be heard, you want the case to be made, you have to stand up, mobilise, and make that point as loud as you can. Don't just lobby as supplicants to MPs. MPs are elected, and most of them want to be re-elected. That's quite a powerful incentive.
Thank you, Jeremy. Security is already here. We need to vacate very soon, so we'll finish up the next 5 minutes. Can I just get a quick response from Azam Beg, then we'll have Anas conclude.
Just in relation to I lived in Afghanistan at the time of the Taliban, and one of the things that was happening at the time was that we were building a school. We built a school for girls. The reason why we weren't opposed, this is really important for the West to understand, is because we were Muslims doing it who they didn't feel were bringing in a foreign agenda that would pollute and their children and their women and so forth. And that sort of thing is something that's been prevented still to this point, other than the fact that they tried to negotiate with the Taliban. And didn't they tell us that they invaded Afghanistan in order to rescue the women there? So why is the plight still so bad? I think another point of lobbying I want to talk about just very, very briefly is in caged prisoners, one of the things that we've done is people often come along to us and say, we think we're being watched. Do you think they're watching us? Do you think they're watching us? And we say, yes, they're watching us, but we're watching them right back. And I mean this very seriously. For the first time in the history of this country, British intelligence services are being investigated by the police because of the actions that the former Guantanamo prisoner and the others did and continue to do. The British government is being taken to court and being made to stand in court. They are trying to introduce, as a result of this, secret evidence courts for the first time in British history. So we've got them on the back foot. And that's because we are exposing them. And in relation to that, I can link an African experience, and that is the rendition of Libyans by and with British complicity to Gaddafi when they were working very close together. So all of this has been seen by us, it's been seen by people in the Arab Spring, and they have recognized that the hypocrisy of these countries that go all the way back to supporting the dictatorships from as early as 92, when the FIS was supposed to come into power in Algeria, until now, they backed them right till the end. And when they saw that the people are going to take power, they said, now we're with you. And isn't that just like the munafiqeen in the Quran when they say, inna kunna ma'akum? And they said, indeed, we were with you all along.
Thank you, Muazzam. You have something really burning, really burning. Go on, quickly. You got 10 seconds.
Not 20. Educated woman, you educated nation, educated man, you educated person. This is to IMP. United Kingdom signed up to the regime CEDAW policy. What are you doing as a country? Because I don't see any equality regarding CEDAW. The local authorities, when you speak to them about equality, discrimination against women, oh, we are giving them equal pay, but what they don't realise is uplifting the skills so that they do have the empowerment to provide for their families.
Okay, you're 20 seconds up.
Have independency.
Thank you, Jeremy.
I
Quick response.
supported the Beijing Convention, and I support what you're saying about the empowerment and upskilling of women. And also, I think all of us have a duty to ensure that the aspirations of girls in school are just as high and just as ambitious as boys' aspirations. And because they are the engineers, the doctors, the lawyers, the journalists, and everything of the future, just as much as the boys are.
Thank you all. Before I ask Anas to conclude for in a minute speech, can I just make quick announcements? First of all the speakers, please do not leave. You have to give quick interviews for Islam Channel and Falcon Media for a promo we're doing later on. So please stay behind for 3 more minutes. I want to thank everyone for coming today and our speaker, especially Aisha from Manchester, and hope you will benefit from the presentation today. You had in front of you actual case studies, good case studies of lobbying and campaigning. And you also had the theory, you also had the abstract, so it's a combination of everything, and we hope you've benefited from this. Also, look out for our future training and workshops. We will be organising a series of training and workshops on media training, on public relations and lobbying campaigning. The details will be released very soon, so look out for the details, inshallah. It leaves me now to ask Anas to quickly conclude in a minute's time. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Abdullah. I think you've done a wonderful job given the constraints of time, so my thanks to you. And also my thanks to all the speakers. I thought when you said the security are here, I thought once again, Jeremy said something, and now the security are here. But Jazakallah khair. But seriously, everyone on the platform, thank you very, very much. Neil, Aisha, Muazzam, and Jeremy, and who spoke earlier? Did we have a speaker earlier? No? It was me. You as well. See. But anyway, thank you very, very much, everyone, for coming. Can I just say, just as a final point, order your copies today. Today we're giving a special discount price on the copies. If you take one, instead of £15, it's going to be for £10. The media guide, instead of 10, it's going to be £7.50, and so on. If you order in bulk, 5 and 10 and the such, there are even greater discounts. So make sure if you want to take some with you tonight, or if you want to order, you can speak to Amani or Amjad, and you have the contact details, and you can contact our officers. But the discussion has been absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much for everyone who took part. I hope and look forward to your feedback, your reviews, your writings, your reflections, your objections. I very much look forward to them, and I also very much look forward to meeting you all once again. Can I just thank, finally, our media people today from Dark Falcon as well as from Islam Channel. They've been wonderful. They've done a wonderful job, especially with the roaming mic. They were running around like headless chicken. Thank you very, very much for that, and have a safe journey back home, all of you. God bless. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
You come back tonight?
No, I can't. And the train just waiting for 2 days.
Well done, my friend. That was wonderful. Always good to be with you. Wasn't Friday amazing? Last Friday.